What's up, ladies and gentlemen? This is BC. Welcome back to another video. Leading up to my event, my voice will go with you. I've been dropping little nuggets on my Instagram and Facebook in regards to language, communication, and sales, and a lot of stuff I'm going to cover at the event. But I also, for you guys here on YouTube, which is a separate audience most times, I wanted to discuss 2 or 3 things over the next couple of videos that I think is really important, all right? Now, many times when we are faced with everyday situations, this will be the first one. We either want to give people advice, we either want to give people our opinion. In many cases, we have to draw a clear line. Now, there's pieces to this. Number one is this. Whenever you guys are going out, if you want to be, from a communication standpoint, extra sharp, remember that unless somebody asks for advice, know that if you just give it, you have the potential to offend people, right? And when I say offend, I don't want you to think of what we see in today's current culture where everybody gets offended, right? You need to understand that mentally, they're gonna take it as an unsolicited piece of advice. And whenever we give out unsolicited advice, many times it's not taken correctly. Very few people on this planet can take that objectively and not get in their feelings, okay? Now, I'm one to believe that although we have the freedom to give our opinion, unless it's asked, meaning somebody asks us for it, we shouldn't just be freely giving it. Again, we have the freedom to do it. However, that goes both ways. That also simultaneously means they have the freedom to reject your opinion or your advice. Now, society has made that like imbalance in the sense that it's okay for me to go around giving people advice, but if they reject it and I get in my feelings, all of a sudden they're wrong and not me, right? So society has that flipped. With that said, you need to understand that that's backwards, right? But number 2, your words need to be very specific. What do we normally do in those situations? We'll tell people, hey, you need to do this, you should do this, blah, 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 right? We speak very declaratively and from a position of commanding somebody as if what we're saying is law. But what you need to understand is if we're going to give our opinion or advice, we have to word it and give it as such, right? So as an example, if I'm going to do this correctly, I'm going to say, hey, I would love to give you some input on blank. You want to hear it? Or are you open to hearing it? If they say no, I move it along, not a problem. However, if they say yes, then I can say, great. I would recommend or I would suggest. Those are 2 of the best ways for you to start that, right? I would recommend you do blah, blah, blah. I would suggest that next time you approach that person, you use more open body language, right? Something like that. Remember that when you choose your words wisely and carefully, you get a different result. Because remember, whenever we get in this game of communication and we want to win, we want to influence, we want to create a connection, we are responsible for everything that happens. Now, there's going to be some examples where we do everything properly and we still don't get the result, which is totally cool, right? You can never bat 100% out of 100%. But what we want to aim for is as close as possible to perfection, right? And that, yes, we can attain it. So with that said, I would recommend, I suggest, I would, if I was you in that situation and it was me doing this or me doing that or me saying this, I would do blah, 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 blah. And that's just my recommendation. Or, hey, my opinion on this matter is da, 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 da. Because remember, the first example I gave you, when you tell somebody, you should, you need to do this, you have to do this, remember, you're commanding them when you do that. You're no longer giving your opinion, and you have to be able to distinguish that with your words. So when we come from the position of I would do this or I recommend you do that, it's going to be accepted in their mind much differently and interpreted much differently than if we just give the command. Now, a lot of the stuff that I'm saying seems obvious to people. However, in execution, we find ourselves defaulting to the regular programming and the regular way of speaking to people, which is flawed, which is wrong. And this is why the majority of people on this planet are suffering. And when it comes to communication, we're very stuck in chaos and disharmony, okay? So, again, choose your words wisely. Remember that all these things are applicable and we have to take them in bunches, and you're going to be going through all these situations that I described in these videos. So what you want to do is be mindful and say, hey, the next time I'm in this situation, I'm going to implement this, and you'll see an immediate difference in not only yourself, but the person that you're communicating with. Because remember, nobody has to accept our opinion. Nobody has to accept what we say. All we can do is give a suggestion or a recommendation, and if it's not accepted, remember they have every right to not accept it, just like you have every right to actually say it or voice your opinion. All right, that's it for this one, y'all. BryanCasella.com for anything else you would want from me. We'll see you on the next video. Peace.